Welcome back to the Portfolio Repairman. My name is David Levenstein, executive producer of 1039 LA News Radio, and I'm here with your host, Jan Tenhagen from the Tenhagen Financial Group. That's Tenhaagen, Tenhagen.com, Tenhagen.com. He has 3 offices in Huntington and Northport and in Manhattan. The phone number is 631-425-1966. That's 631-425-1966. He's a certified financial planner. His website is really just a wonderful resource of information, articles, interviews that he has done over the course of his career. You want to talk more about that? Yeah, well, you start off. You have an interview. You have a on your page here. You have been called upon by Channel 12 News frequently, right?
Channel 12 News and then FiOS 1 News also.
Under what circumstances are you called upon?
Well, with News 12, it's usually if there's something big going on, like last winter, there was the Brexit, the exit from England, from the EU.
Was that last winter already?
Yeah, and of course, when it first started, because England, everybody thought it wasn't going to go through, bang, it does, and panic set in, like, oh my God. Well, in reality, they're not going to be out of the EU probably another year and a half until they finally get it all squared away.
I read recently that the pound actually has gone down in value against the U.S. dollar, so it's actually a good time to travel there.
Oh, absolutely, and it's fear of what's going to happen. Nobody knows, but that's why News 12 usually calls me if there's a crisis with the banking crisis, etc. Any of those kind of things. FiOS, on the other hand, we pre-structure programs. One of them I'm very proud of. We did on preparing for divorce. And I don't mean it as a negative, but in this country, first marriages is over 50% failure rate, and second marriage is over 75%. So
that's not good to hear.
No, but it's reality. So I put together a program about preparing for divorce, and we were nominated for an Emmy, which is kind of cool. It's really kind of cool.
It is. I, unfortunately, have been divorced twice, so I know only too well how you lose 50% of everything in your first marriage and another 50% your second marriage, and rebuilding and restarting and rebuilding and restarting. There's a tremendous amount of stress and a tremendous amount of pressure, and sometimes things that you don't count on. I had a daughter that got sick, spent even more money on that. So things that you don't count on, but you need to be prepared, and had I not been prepared, I probably would have not have survived financially either of those situations.
Well, one of the things we talked about was, okay, you're happily married and you're accumulating assets and a family, etc. Think about periodically, what if this happens, and what is it I want to net get out of this once it's done? And so many times I see one of the spouses, usually the woman, I want to keep the house because the kids have been there since they were little, and I want them until they get out of school. Well, think about, can you afford to pay for and maintain that home at the prices of today's supporting that house? Think about it. Maybe take the monies and then buy a smaller place.
It's interesting because the results of divorce planning really is, if you get divorced, it'll be a smoother shift in your lifestyle. But on the flip side, if you don't get divorced, you as a married couple would be better off.
Absolutely. You've just got to be prepared no matter what it is in life. You've got to think about what if, and be prepared for it. Hopefully you don't get the divorce and everything is happy. And like I went to my goddaughter's wedding last weekend, and her parents are so happily married. Her brother's happily married. She's now marrying a wonderful guy. But 20 years from now, I don't know. Nobody knows. So be prepared.
I married my high school sweetheart, and a few years later we were divorced.
Yeah.
You just never know.
I've been divorced twice, too. I married, the first one was a singer-actress. Pretty good, but things changed. And the second one was forever. It was just absolutely the most perfect person, and everything was going fine. And then we had a tragedy in the family. And when my parents were killed in a car accident, she just literally shut down emotionally. We went to every guru in the world to help us, never got that. And to this day, I'm still her financial advisor, but she still has no emotion that she can put into anything.
Well, again, I've always said that there are three people. There's the one you date, the one you marry, and the one you divorce. Hopefully you never meet the third one.
That would be nice.
That would be very nice. And hopefully the second one is a lot better than the first one. But if they're not, you're on your way to meet the third one, and that is one you never ever want to meet.
Well, the bottom line is, again, be prepared. You know, don't look at it as. Unfortunately, it's all emotional. But if you can get the logic in there, like I was just talking to somebody last night about this, and get rid of the emotion, because that's all there is. It's just raw tension emotion.
Well, this brings us right back to paying yourself first. Let me first reintroduce you, in case anybody's first joining. This is not actually this is not a sad conversation. It just went that way. But this is a very good conversation we're having, because this is going to help you to reach your financial goals. Jan ten Haagen from the Ten Haagen Financial Group, TenHaagen, tenhaagen.com. That's tenhaagen.com. His phone number is 631-425-1966. 631-425-1966. You can learn more about him. He's a wonderful resource of information on his website, tenhaagen.com. He is a certified financial planner, and he's independent as well. And we'll talk about that in one of a upcoming episode. But you should give him a call. We talked about saving for yourself first, paying yourself first. So if somebody has a 401k, can they also have an IRA?
Yes, you can.
And do they get the deduction, or is that dependent upon how much money they earn?
The deduction is dependent on your income.
And so I know many people say, "Oh, I don't have an IRA because I have a 401k." That's actually they can have both.
Yeah, they can have an IRA and/or a Roth IRA, and they're totally different but very similar.
Let's remind people what the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA.
Well, they're very similar in ways, but the difference, the bottom line difference is, with an IRA, I can get a deduction for my contribution if I'm lower than a certain income amount. With a Roth, you're putting in after-tax money. They're both growing tax deferred. At 70 and a half, you must start withdrawing from your IRA.
That's your traditional IRA.
That's the traditional. The Roth, you never have to take the money out, period. And when you do, it's tax-free because you put in after-tax money in the beginning.
How about when you pass on? Does it pass on to your heirs, to your beneficiaries, tax-free as well, or will they have to pay income tax on that?
No, they will roll it over into an inherited IRA or Roth IRA. There's no tax at that point, none. And that's interesting because I've just been reading lately the government's looking for more and more money. They're now talking about, but they haven't done anything about possibly taxing a Roth. So, if
they tax a Roth, then it's a traditional.
Well, going forward, but
so in other words, they're going to get rid of Roth IRAs?
They're talking about. That's all they're doing is talking about.
I also heard at one point that they're going to make, or they would like to make, mandatory withdrawals from Roth IRAs as well.
Correct. Yeah, the government is always looking for more money so they can spend it as they do. Did many of your clients convert their traditional IRAs to Roth IRAs? The only problem with doing that is that you have to have money in your other pocket to pay the tax, because if you go from an IRA, it's like a distribution, you're going to pay tax on it at your current rates. So you've got to be careful there. You can do it, and I have quite a few that do, but you've got to make sure you've got money in your other pocket to pay that tax. You can't take it out of the IRA itself.
I'm speaking with Jan ten Haagen from the Ten Haagen Financial Group. His website is tenhaagen.com, TenHaagen, TenHaagen, and he has offices, 3 offices, 2 on Long Island and 1 in Manhattan, Huntington, Northport, and Manhattan. So if you're driving in the car and you are a resident and you of New York City, or you live closer to the city border, you have that opportunity. Huntington out here, Northport, lovely. And his phone number is 631-425-1966. 631-425-1966. He is a certified financial planner. Versus just a typical stockbroker. What is the difference?
Between a
certified financial planner and a stockbroker?
Well, nobody calls themselves a stockbroker anymore since E.F. Hutton changed everybody in 1986. to a financial consultant.
I used to be a stockbroker.
Yeah. And a stockbroker is somebody that's hired by a wirehouse to call people, convince them that they're the right person, and convince them that the situation they're offering to buy or sell.
And earn a commission.
Yeah. And, there's nothing wrong with a commission. I mean, it's perfectly fine. It's the way it's done. But if you say that you're a financial advisor when you're really a stockbroker, it's like the sheep's skin over a wolf or a fox. So you've got to be careful. It's your money that you've earned. You've got to be careful who you're dealing with and what's their ultimate goal. Is it their pocket, their wealth, or is it to have you better situated to go forward?
And there's no one that LN News Radio would rather recommend is the Haagen Financial Group. That's Jan Haagen, Tenhagen, Haagen Financial Group. Again, 3 offices in Huntington, Northport, and New York. The phone number is 631-425-1966. And we will see you next week right here on the Portfolio Repairman.